A lot of you are probably already aware, but I believe it started during the second part of the festival. We have a double drop for wind sources, so this is a really good opportunity to farm as many bird relics as possible. And I figured it is also a good time to do an update on our bird videos. So this is the team that we are running. We're not running a stance or a taunt or anything like that. This is just a full damage team, and the idea is to just deal a ton of damage every turn. The only sort of support we have is obviously going to be from Meg and her heals, and then outside of that, we're just dealing damage. So we're on the first floor currently, phase 1, just like normal. You can play this however you want. I like to burn T1 attacks because they don't really do anything special. Save all the amplify attacks and save Kusak's drain. Phase 1 is going to be done in 2 turns. Try to heal whenever you get a debuff or whenever you're low. Bird is down phase 1. And come phase 2, still not the start of any sort of passives or damage cap. So just like to blow all the extra cards here. We want to save up Meliodas' single target. We get a gold so that we can deal damage on phase 4 when he does have all of his resistance / defenses through the roof. And just like phase 1, he almost dies in 1 turn. Does take 2 full turns. We got another bleed off on everybody. Try to cleanse the debuffs as often as possible, especially if you do have Mech Relic, since that is going to give us the all stat increase onto everybody. But no need to do that here. Just going to merge melee and start pushing a couple of ults. Everyone's ult's going to be pretty useful for phase 4, especially Kusak and Meg, since both of them have Power Strike on their ults. Got an extra cleanse, or an extra heal, rank 2. We do have our gold melee attack, so we're going to get these all merged up. It's going to hit a lot harder than Melee's ult, so I probably, if you can't get, or I wouldn't worry about getting Melee's ult. I would prioritize using the gold single target on phase 4 over his ultimate, I should say. Doesn't hit very hard. It does cleave damage, so it's not the best. Meg's getting pretty low. We do have 3 rank 2 heals somehow. And he is going to be focusing down melee since he is dark, which means we're getting buff stripped a lot. So this should add 2 stacks. So hopefully single target from T1 and Melee's ult can clear phase 3. I am not 100% sure because this is damage caps at 150. Yeah, that's more than 150 left. So we're here for 1 more turn, but that does allow us to get T1's ults. So with T1's ult, Meg, Kusak, and then a gold single target on a melee, it's going to wrap up phase 4 pretty fast. So we just need to finish what we're doing here. Now's a good opportunity to drop this cleanse. We're doing all attacks soon, so we'll do all of this. Don't really need to use any skills. Kind of speed through this. I haven't actually done a speed run for Bird. I should probably do that. This is a good team for it. The only thing is I don't have UR gear for Meg. I've literally been using borrowed gear for her for literally since she came out, so it just shows how well of a unit she is for this, and that UR gear isn't needed. But if I do a speed run, I'll probably include that. So triple ults don't even need melee single target attack. It's going to kill phase 1, or 4-1, and we'll move to 4-2. So as we're aware, on the second phase, he does his 3 billion attack card, his AoE, and that's going to miss if we have a taunt up. But we aren't using a taunter, which means we need to one-shot phase 2. The only tricky part is there is a damage cap. So we're running T1 and Kusak. Both of those ults have a second hit attached to them. Kusak's abyss damage, and then T1's death damage. So whichever one you're running, or if you're running both, we need to have an ultimate out of them for the transition. So we drop both of T1's attacks. I do the exact same opening attacks each turn, or each floor, because like I mentioned on the first floor, they are probably the weakest and easiest attacks to get rid of. So we drew extra Kusak cards. We'll go ahead and push for Kusak's ult. This might kill right here, to be honest. It does. Okay. So we don't need to worry about saving up a gold melee attack, since there isn't any crazy defensive buffs to deal with on the second floor. So we'll go ahead and burn both of those. We're going to get his ultimate here, and then we'll drop Kusak's ult. Everything should be hitting damage cap. 150. That was a little under. Pierce attack might not. Okay, it crit both attacks, so 147 is not bad. But as you can see, active unique is going to kill him and then revive him to 5%. Abyss is going to finish him off. And then phase 3, he has 3 sets of gray buffs. We want to get him down to about... we want to deal damage cap about once, if we can. So we could have done a little more. I think around 70% HP is when he starts cycling his gray buffs. We just don't want him to land on the... we really don't want to land on any of them. So the idea is to just hit the damage cap once, and then the following turn, go for the kill. He has a recovery buff, which will heal him back to full. And then if he's down to like 30%, then he will... he doesn't quite one-shot, but he does have a massive increase in his damage output. So here T1's hitting cap. You hit cap 3 more times here, you know, it'll finish him off. So the HP buff was up there. We didn't get to see the attack buff, but it's not something you really want to run into anyways. Phase 4, we managed to merge into Melee's ult. Now hopefully we can draw probably one more heal so that we can come to floor 3 with full HP. I mean, we have one, but I'm not sure if we can finish him off and be full HP. No, actually, damage output's pretty good. This should be able to finish here. Yeah, we got a melee attack, 2 amplifies out of Meg, so we didn't need the extra heal. Again, he is going to be focusing down melee since we are all blue outside of him. His damage pretty lackluster once you get all 5 gray buffs up, so I'm going to heal and then move in for the kill, and that should wrap up phase 2. And when you have a really good team like this, especially Meg and melee, you really don't need to worry about buffs. So I honestly don't know where we're at, haven't been checking them, but we will move on to floor 3. Alright, so the final phase to clearing the bird. He's pretty tanky on phase 1. He is also going to blockade rank 2s and rank 3s. So we're going to open with our same set of attacks, and then most likely we're going to cleanse off the blockade, especially if we get a rank 2 attack. I definitely want to see some rank 2 melees, but you could not spend melee's attacks. Saving them for phase 4 isn't actually a bad idea, because he does get tanky on phase 4, and then a gold buff or a gold attack is a really easy way to deal with a revive passive if he does land into that. But it looks like we don't really need to spend it, because we do have a T1 fat merge, so we'll spend the gold, and then we'll have his ult to finish the floor. He is full ult gauge, so when he does get to full gauge and I can't finish him off, which I know I won't finish this phase 1 and 2 turns, that's when I'll use the Kusak drain, which is why I like to run him. He's got a drain and a power strike. It's a very good kit for this. You could run somebody else if you don't have at least 3/6 Kusak, because that's when his Abyss is active. So I mean, there's, you know, tons of options. You could run a Taunter or another DPS if you want. I know Green Arthur has been a pretty popular one that people do. But we drew a couple single targets, so we actually don't need to burn the T1 ults. This should be enough to finish him off here. More stacks from Meg. 2 single targets at a Kusak. I think this gets his ult as well. And we could drop both ults just to move on to phase 3. Or we could hold them, because phase 3 we want to finish pretty fast too. But we have some pretty good cards. So this is a amplify attacks and then a flood card, so should be fine. Missed the second crit, doesn't matter, it's death damage. And then 2 ults by itself with the Abyss out of Kusak probably would have finished off phase 2. Phase 3 is when he starts to seal our skills. I think he starts off with a stance seal and then a debuff seal. I forget the order, but you want to finish within 3 turns because after 3 turns I think is when he drops the attack seal. So that's definitely not something we want to deal with. The first 2 seals are fine because this team doesn't have either of those attacks. So if you are using a team that relies on an attack that gets sealed, then you might want to consider finishing sooner. We have Meg ult, we have melee ult, so we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah, so the first one is a stance seal, which I think would be Giant Deanne. So Giant Deanne really doesn't want to get hit by phase 3. So we're gonna full send our ults and our best cards. Still trying to hold on to this melee single target. Haven't gotten any kind of merges on it. Unfortunately, we don't have a Cusack drain, so we are gonna get hit by this bird ult. And he is buffing. So unfortunately, I shouldn't have used an ult. I probably should have saved it, but I was hoping that the ult would finish. He's got evasion up for 1 turn, and then his other buffs last, I believe it is 2 turns. Only ults can hit through evasion, so we're going to just spend some time moving cards. Can get this heal up, and then we'll push T1 ult so that we'll have it. But evasion's going to drop anyways, so we don't really need it. But it'll be fine to have to start phase 4 with. Still not seeing those melee merges, so we might just be looking for a gold flood card at this point. Again, it's probably not really needed, but you know, it'll make it a little easier if he's got that revive buff. And that's the debuff seal? Oh, it's a buff seal. Okay. So buff and then attacks. But that's fine. We don't buff. This team inherently has its own buffs through passives, which is pretty nice. We're on phase 4. We are full health. I think that is revive, right? Okay, so when he gets down to 25% HP. So we're going to see if we can play around that. We'll merge up. We can get some ults. I'm going to save that Cusack drain for when he has his ults. We're looking for 25%. Luckily they added the bars, so it's going to make this really easy to tell when he's at that threshold. So we have our gold T1 attack. We might be able to just hit him with 2 cards and then gold attack. And that might be it. It looks like he doesn't buff cancel anymore, so that's nice. Otherwise, melee would be absolutely useless on this last phase. He is ulting as well. So the drain will probably get him down to 25% HP. But drain doesn't hit that hard, so... Oh, yeah. The single target. He's still not 25%. He's still pretty high up there. It's about 38, 39 HP. But we did line up our buffs for his evasion. So this is a tricky spot. I'm not sure if Meg ult is going to proc revive or not. But I guess we'll find out. There's no more damage cap. It could crit. It might kill. Oh, right at 25%. And Cusack's ult crits. That's actually calculated as crap. So that was a pretty nice finish. I think everyone's almost full HP. So, I mean, if there was a 4th phase, we'd be good to go. But if you guys liked it, drop a thumbie. Maybe sub if you're into that. See you in the next one.